Hello, I'm Sandra Barker, and this is Chapter 6 of my book, Look in the Shadows. This chapter is called A Pivotal Moment. This book is my autobiography about how and why I left my comfortable life in Australia to go and live in Indonesia. There's a hard copy available on my website, www.freedominenglish.com. I want to move forward to the year 2008. By this time, I had been married for 28 years. But my life to me was like living in a desert or standing in a corner where you could turn neither to the left nor to the right. I was a person who liked adventure and the outdoors. I wanted companionship to do the things that I liked doing. But my life had not turned out that way. I felt very alone in my pursuit of happiness. The question that I kept asking myself was, where did I go so horribly wrong? What did I do? What was the mistake that I had made? I searched my mind for the answers, but none seemed to come forth. I felt that I had become the mere shell of a human existence. No dreams, no vision, no purpose, and certainly no ministry. However, the yearnings for adventure and a life of meaning still had a remnant of thread within my sinews. There was something within me that just couldn't stay like I was for the remaining years of my life. It seemed that through my entire existence that I had always been suppressed in some way. As a child, I was never allowed to have my own opinions. If I expressed them, then I was always shot down in flames, ridiculed. So I learned to just keep my mouth shut. I would withdraw into a corner to be nothing. I became a thinker instead. Then, as an adult, I tried to be a submissive housewife, doing what I thought was right from a Christian perspective, wanting to honour God. But this produced for me a life that was very unhappy. Was my life all that God would allow me to ever be, doing daily chores, but never doing anything of any real value? Never doing anything of spiritual value, just living out life. Was this truly the extent of my existence? If so, then do I really want to have a faith in a God that reduces a person to nothingness? Is this a woman's role from the Christian perspective? These questions haunted me. But there was something deep within me that told me that my God was not like that. There are many good Christian women out there who do an incredible job focusing on the needs of family. But somehow that just wasn't me. It was not who I am. I decided that I didn't want to be the person that I was anymore. I wanted to become who I am. I wanted to become who I was created to be. I wanted to rise up and fly. I would pay whatever price I would have to pay, even unto death, because it would be better to die than to dwell forever in the place of nothingness. It would be better to end up in hell than to not have tried to be more than what I was. Was I totally wrong in my understanding of God and his plan for my life? Was I meant to be just a keeper of the home and nothing more? I had to take the risk that I might be horribly wrong, and that if I was wrong, I could end up in hell because of it. I decided that if that happened, then I would comfort myself there with the thought that at least I had tried. If I was meant to be just a keeper of the home, then why was I not fulfilled with that? Why was I not satisfied with that role? I could have not married, and I could not have started a family. But I would not have wanted to have missed out on those experiences, because of what it builds into your character. They make you a different person. But I also did not want my fulfillment to come from living out of the lives of my children. The time comes when they go out into the world to build their own lives and families, and I did not want to merely tag along with what they were doing. After all, they needed to be set free to become who they're meant to be, and not a clone of their parents. By this stage, my 4 children were almost grown up. I had been a stay-at-home mother for the past 23 years. The raising of my children had many difficulties and did not flow how I had imagined it would be. I had always imagined a life of family adventures, doing things in the outdoors, sharing our lives together. But it was not like that. It was more like everyone had their own things that they did. We took them off to their various events and venues, but often it was just everyone sitting on their own computers. For a time, my solace was in the keeping of horses, a hobby of my eldest daughter. But really, it was a fake representation of what I wanted from life. It consoled me for many years as I loved to go to the paddocks that we rented and feed and train the horses. We competed and even bred horses, but it never went anywhere. It was a bit like rowing around in circles, always having something that had to be done, but never actually going anywhere. Not that we didn't have some great moments, there were. My love of these amazing animals probably kept me sane throughout the years of wilderness. Without them, I think that I would have gone totally mad. With having 4 children, there is always going to be one that is more challenging than the others. This was my eldest daughter. She had been living out of home for quite some time. But in 2008, it was particularly notable. We had been estranged for about 5 years, and we had started to reconnect. The horses had been a vital means by which we kept the tiniest thread of contact. We formed a new closeness in our relationship. It was during a conversation one day that she said to me, "Mum, why don't you get a job?" It came totally out of the blue, as it was totally unrelated to the conversation that we were having at the time. I had no idea why she said it, and no idea how poignant those few words would be. But I did not totally brush the idea aside. I thought that maybe it was not such a bad idea. Maybe it could be a new focus, or it could help fund the cost of my horses. It was a pivotal moment that would change the rest of my life. I will explain why as the remainder of my story unfolds. But before we go on to that, I will need to talk about some events that happened in the early part of my marriage. Events that never made any sense at the time, but many years later would suddenly become very clear. Please hit the like button if you're enjoying my story, and don't forget to come back for the next chapter. Bye for now.